This year, for the very first time, we hosted a hackers conference where we were able to bring people from all around the world to help us find new ways to get into some of the most closed nations of the world to bring God's word. And since we had that hackers conference, one of the things that I have been enlightened on is just how the enemy is using and manipulating social networking to bring about a new kind of persecution, a persecution that I don't think that I've really thought about, a persecution that you can see in the book 1984. Think about this in China. For those of you that are not familiar with China, we have this app. I consider it to be the world's first mega app. It's called WeChat. And WeChat has been used in China for many years. And basically, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of everything in one application, right? That's why I call it a mega app. And what it does is, if you can imagine an application that has Facebook, Twitter, all the social media that you use, as well as Amazon, Uber, Expedia.com, anything that you use to arrange for dinner at a restaurant, to arrange a taxi, to buy items online, that's all incorporated in WeChat. So let me give you an example. If I want to meet with my friends, I can send them a message using WeChat in China. If I tell them I want to meet them at a restaurant, I can send them the address of the restaurant in China, and then they can follow on their map using WeChat. If we want to go together, but we don't know exactly where the location of the other person is, we just put in where we at on WeChat, and WeChat will help us connect together, walk directly to one another's location in order to go to the restaurant. When I get to the restaurant, I can order my meal online. So many restaurants inside of China right now do not have a menu at their restaurant. You actually have it on WeChat. So you order your food using WeChat. You then pay for your meal using WeChat. You can take a picture of your meal and share it with your friends using WeChat. From there, you can get a taxi to go home. You can pay for your parking spot to leave the restaurant. You can arrange your bus tickets, your train tickets, your plane tickets for the next day, all using this special application. People have become so reliant upon it because of its easy usability. Here's the problem. Now that people are so used to using this application, the government has started to create a way to monitor as well as to socially engineer a new type of thinking. So they have created, for the very first time, what's called the social score. And this social network score comes on WeChat, and it goes anywhere from 300 points to 900 points. And the lower you are, the fewer things you can do in society. So for instance, if you have a low score, you can't get a passport, you can't get a good job, your children can't go to the best schools, you'll be put at the back of the line at the hospital. There'll be many challenges if you have a low score. If you have a high score, you can do things like go to the head of the line at the airport. You can get expedited visas to go to places like Singapore, Thailand, the EU. And what they have done is basically anybody that does something that the government does not like, they can lower your score. You know, one of the things that the government does not like? People that share the gospel. If you are a believer and you're meeting in your home and you're having other people come and study the Bible together with you, that is considered to be an untrustworthy activity. The government can then lower your trustworthy score. And when you have a low score, very few people will want to be friends with you. Because you see, if they are friends with you, that lowers their score as well. So now we can see this new type of persecution that is now also integrated with an extensive series of cameras throughout the nation. By the end of 2020, next year, there's supposed to be 900 million cameras. That's one camera, more than one camera for every 2 people inside of China today, the most populated nation on earth. And it coordinates, these cameras can coordinate with a low social credit score, so that if you are detected walking into an area, they can then pick you up with the cameras and follow you where you are going. They can also take a video feed of where you are crossing a road, for instance, in front of a very busy section that might have a huge LED screen. All of a sudden, your image can be projected onto that screen to alert everybody in the area that a Christian, a person who is not trustworthy, is in the area and everyone needs to be aware. This is a new way of weaponizing your personal social experience, where you are connecting with people from all over the world, all over your city, all of your friends and family members using social media. This is a new way to persecute believers. And you might think, well, you know what? I live in England or I live in Canada. I don't have to worry about these things. Most people all over the world today are using Facebook, Twitter, watching YouTube. And one of the things that we saw not too long ago with Facebook is that Facebook now also has a social trustworthy score, where if you show that you are habitually posting information that they do not like, they can either block you or shadow ban you, which basically means you're blocked and you just don't know it if you're shadow banned. That's why Back to Jerusalem has created a completely different social network group where people can have a different experience, where their information is not stolen and sold to people all around the world or organizations all around the world, where you can share freely about your ideas, your thoughts, your beliefs without the worry of being persecuted. This is the reason why we have created dingdash.com, but we can't do it alone. We can't do it by ourselves. Unlike these massive corporations that have thousands of workers, we have people from all around the world that have the same heart as us, that are volunteering their time and coming in to join us with dingdash.com. We're hosting a conference, and we would love for you to join us if you believe that God has called you for this kind of task. Maybe you're a person that you don't see yourself standing on a stage and preaching in front of hundreds or thousands of people. Maybe you're not a person that feels necessarily musically gifted or inclined, but maybe there's some of you that are following Back to Jerusalem. You're hearing about these challenges, you're hearing about this new persecution, and you're thinking to yourself, this is what I'm good at. This is what God has gifted me with. And I want to be a part of this new Christian movement, to not only get away from the persecution, but to also provide a new way for Christians in closed countries to connect with other believers, to provide that encouragement, to provide a sense of fellowship in areas that are, quite frankly, quite dark, closed, blocked off from the gospel. Dingdash.com. Right now, Back to Jerusalem needs your help if this is something that you feel connected with. I would love to hear from you. I can connect you directly to our team that is putting together this small little private meeting where Christians from around the world that are just sick and tired of fighting the system, that is ready to step out and create something new for believers all around the world. Thank you so much for partnering with Back to Jerusalem, and thank you for those of you that are praying for this effort.